I was always happy to have Greg Sherna with us today from Homestead Senior Care. And today we're talking about loneliness, and we're sort of prompted by the fact that I think it's caught a lot of people off guard in some respects. But in the UK, they actually created a new position in January called the Minister of Loneliness.
Right, and the Star Phoenix ran an editorial a couple of days later and said, well, that's a little bit negative. How about Minister of Connection? But making the case that this is a thing, you know, and it's an epidemic, certainly in the UK and here. And
the thing is that, you know, goodness knows it affects so many people in so many different stages in their life, and it's not strictly something to deal with seniors, but we're going to concentrate on seniors because they might be the one group that is most affected because, you know, as you get older, you know, children move away, you know, friends sadly pass along, and you become more and more isolated.
Exactly, and there's such a stigma to this idea about loneliness, similar to, I think, the Alzheimer's and dementia type of conversation where no one wants to talk about that. No one wants to admit they're lonely. No one wants to acknowledge that, you know, maybe I've become more socially isolated or talk about our parents that way. And so it makes it a real challenge, absolutely.
So, okay, so we recognize the challenge, or at least we let's say we're worried about that. What do we do? Is this a subject we broach with our parents or you know, elderly aunts and uncles? You know, how do we bring this subject up?
Well, you know, I guess there's two ways to look at it. Speaking to the older generation, I hope that there would be an openness if our kids come to us or family or people in our circle and they say, you know, we're concerned, you know, that there would be an openness to hear that. And certainly, you know, for the adult children to recognize that, you know, let's create a scenario. Mom can still cook for herself, but, you know, and she can physically manage in the home, but how is she emotionally? Because the backstory is Dad passed away 8 months ago. Her circle has become a little smaller. So now all of a sudden it's, she can manage physically, but how is she doing emotionally, socially?
So you say, how is she doing? Like, you know, are there any other sort of red flags that we can look for with mom or dad in terms of that situation?
Well, I guess the things would be, you know, is the world becoming smaller? You know, are they getting out as much? You know, is there an appetite change? Is there, you know, there's lots of physical symptoms, but really what we're trying to talk about here too is this is not a medical intervention problem, right? This is non-medical, and that we see it in our work. There's power in companionship, that compassionate presence, that one-on-one, you know, I'm here, I'm your person. And so sometimes family can do that, right? But often our case here in Saskatoon is people are busy, they're working, they're managing their own life. Parents don't want to be a burden, right? And so if you ask them, they'll say, I'm fine.
Well, exactly.
And it's like, okay, but we can do better. And boy, having somebody come in a couple of times a week to help you manage life and support you in the scope of non-medical things, getting to appointments, making a meal, you know, just being available. You know, that companionship at its heart, I think it can be very profoundly positive in a person's life.
And I would think too, also encourage, you know, your elderly loved ones. It's like, hey, you know, get involved with a group in the building. That may not necessarily be the group of friends you knew, but it's like new friends are there to be found. And you know, and is there a class you want to take? Is there a sport you want to do? Is there a game you like to play? Those kind of passions.
Groups, and some people are just better with that one-on-one thing because that's more their personality or style.
Fair enough,
so, but to have the conversation with the family, we're always happy to do that.
All right. So, some good points on dealing with loneliness as people get older and trying to red flag that situation. You can always contact Homestead Senior Care for more information on things like this. So, thanks a lot, Greg.
You're very welcome. Thank you.